Welcome to Survivor NSFW, the Unauthorized Survivor podcast. I am super excited, Johnny. We have the winner of David versus Goliath, Nick Wilson. Nick, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. I kind of feel bad because I did promise Johnny I was drinking ginger beer, and then I started talking, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to drink a real beer for this. So
well,
I'm double fisting.
Me too.
Steve Austin.
I got
ginger beer, regular beer.
I got a Rheingeist, which is a local Cincinnati beer. Truth is my go-to IPA. And then I found this koozie that says I pooped today.
Oh God!
And I got a Pabst Blue Ribbon in there. This is like, I need to send one of these to Johnny. It's something Johnny Fairplay will put on a T-shirt.
Wow. Speaking of T-shirts, my friend Nick is a lawyer, and he'll get you off. Shirt is available at johnnyfairplay.com. And if you're listening now, this comes out next week. You missed the sale for 20% off. So there you
go.
Right.
Approved it.
Yes. But the hottest model that I've ever had rock any of my shirts. So thank you, Nick. I will say this. I mean, like even after winning Survivor, you still outkicked your coverage.
Oh, I know.
And I love you. I mean, I would date you. Okay. So, and I feel like I'm in the hemisphere of your football field, but no,
I agree.
Yeah, Grizel.
I know.
Pretty amazing, and she does not like to be called Gristle, so don't.
No.
So Nick, we only have 2 questions for you. What's your favorite color, and even or odd?
No, but Nick, I know, obviously, any player that has played Survivor and then gets off the show has a ton of things going on, ton of things to do. So thanks for coming on. And I'm super excited, man, because I know you and I talked before your season, when the season was kind of just announced. I saw Nick Wilson and whatever town of Kentucky you live in, and I actually reached out to you, I think on social media maybe, and you and I talked, and I was so pumped that another kind of close by guy was on Survivor. And then you came to town to Cincinnati. You weren't officially a part of anything, but you were, you came and we got to hang out a little bit.
This is before he was announced, Matt. I have this picture right here. If we can see, this is
got leaked.
This not this picture.
No. The cast got leaked, I think.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So it just what's really cool is
before we knew anything, but this picture right here is before. Like this is a young man at the spaghetti factory in Cincinnati. Walks up, sneaks over to me and Piper, and he goes, "Hey, I'm on the new Survivor. Don't." And I'm the biggest asshole on the planet. Please tell me I'm wrong, because I want to punch myself. I believe I patted you on the head and was like, wow, because I'm sorry. Like you are nicer than nice, Nick. And Survivor's not a nice man's game.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I remember you telling me that. You're like, what? How were you on Survivor? Like, how did you do it? And, and I was just there. I was like, oh my God, it's Johnny Fairplay. And like, it's so excited. And like Matt said, he reached out to me, and I knew who Matt was. I was like, oh my God, Matt texted me. I think he might've been one of the first survivors to text me. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was just like pumped, and I was starstruck, and I went to the event as a fan before I got announced or the show aired.
But you knew I won.
I know.
This is like a mind-blowing thing, because I'm a huge Survivor fan. So Nick is coming. You are a huge Survivor fan as well, and you come to this event and you're stoked to meet the fellow brotherhood and sisterhood of Survivor, and we had no idea that this young kid from Kentucky is going to be the next millionaire, and you make it all the way to the end of David. I mean, Johnny and I have both tripped out over the fact that you fucking won. You know what I'm saying?
You listen to we were rooting for you, but it's just like, I'm doing pre-show. I'm just like, my pick is, I'm like, if Nick can kind of bob and weave, I'm like, I think he's likable enough. I'm just like, I just don't see that killer instinct. And you're explaining to me when I meet you, and you have on your bio on CBS.com, it's just like, my favorite players are Russell Hantz and Jonny Fairplay, and I'm just like, how the fuck do you end up like this with those two assholes as your favorites?
Well, it proves that Nick is a student of the game. So I want to so you are a Survivor fan. So you actually applied for the show. Jonny was recruited somewhere in California because he's a pretty boy surfer looking gnarly guy.
You're 1/3 right.
Yeah, I applied as a fan. It's the second time I ever applied. I got on the show. So tell me, like, how many times did you apply for Survivor before you actually got the phone call that to go through the process?
Well, I mean, my first application was in 2008 when I was 18, and then in 2017 was when I got on, or when I was going through. So it was like 9-10 years. I probably applied 6 or 7 times in that time frame. So I applied a lot of times.
Did you make a video each time?
I think I made a new video each time. Probably every time. Yeah, probably 6 different videos, I'd say.
Now, I want to ask you this. So you make a video for the people that are listening to this podcast. Okay, there's so many people that dream to play Survivor. You being a fan, was your video just a very simple you in front of the camera? Hey, I'm Nick Wilson. I'm this guy. What do you think the casting people, Lynn Spillman, etc., was attracted to you to put you on the show?
Well, I tried like I said, I did a lot of different videos, and I think I kind of learned from what I did wrong. Sometimes I'll just sit down and try to talk about myself. But when I really got when I got my first call back is when I chugged a Red Bull before and just brought a lot of energy, and I was like, and I called myself a redneck lawyer. So I come up with a catchy phrase that where when they look at me, they don't have to say, oh, this is the guy from Kentucky or what. They have something that just clicks. It's oh, that's the redneck lawyer. And so that was when I got my first call back, and I was just in my truck talking to the camera and talking to the camera in my room and stuff. But once I got their email address of the casting person that I worked with, the next year or two I applied, I would do the application online. But also I didn't bug her or anything, but I would when I applied, I would simply email her my video too. And
well, go ahead and give out her email so anyone listening can.
Okay, just go ahead and get a pen. No, but I mean, I thought that wasn't an overbearing tactic, but it was just hey, remember me, and I never bugged anybody or anything. But my last video, I think, was pretty good. I had basically I was okay, I know I do all this fun, cool stuff, but I have no proof of it. So from that year, for the whole year, every time I went to the lake or if we had a snow and I went sledding or different things, I took some video. So I had a bunch of video stored up that I put into my casting video, and it would just be a few seconds of me jumping off a rock into the lake or riding a four-wheeler or something like that.
Just showing your adventurous side. Hey, I'm Nick. I like to go four-wheeling. I like to sled ride. And then you showed clip. That's exactly what I did with BMX and snowboarding and music. So you're showing what you do in your real life.
Exactly. And in my prior videos, I might sit down and talk about that. But, I mean, not everybody understands what riding a four-wheeler is or oh, I like to race. Hell, I would say that, but nobody really understood what it meant. So I just saved up the video so I could show it. And I think that was the huge turning point for me.
Do you think you're cast if they don't have the concept of David versus Goliath? Do you think possibly they're sitting there in casting going, this guy's good, but maybe he's not outgoing, he's not, like a larger than life Jonny Fairplay type character.
Yeah.
And then when they have this character, because according to Chaos Cast and others, this has been Jeff Probst's baby. He's wanted to do a David versus Goliath season for years, and he finally got the green light. And it's just okay, well, if we have to cast a tribe of Davids, they don't need to be stick figures that do, it's their story, and I think a couple of you guys were shoehorned into that David role, and I think a couple of the Goliaths were as well, but for the most part I think it was brilliant casting. But do you think if that wasn't the theme, do you get the call?
Well, I will say that I got a call back one year, and it didn't really go that far, and then all of a sudden they was very interested. So it went from like some or moderate interest to I felt like they really wanted me. And I didn't know. I thought like, well, I've become a lawyer since then. So like at first I was a law student. I thought, well, maybe now that I'm a practicing lawyer, that's more appealing. They see I'm not just a shithead college frat bro or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what I was thinking at the time. But because I was questioning like, what, where is this coming from? But when on the barge, when I saw the theme and I saw I was on the David Tribe, it definitely clicked. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I see why they really wanted me this time, because I felt like it was a perfect fit, no doubt.
Yeah. How many people out there do you think knew the story of David versus Goliath?
Me, certainly, Elizabeth, Davey, us three for sure. I know.
Yeah.
On the glass, I'm really not sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike did and if Nally did. But it was like the people that grew up in church or went to church.
So because like the big thing, like I 2 years ago, I stopped drinking and I started, going to church, and I go to Bible study on Monday nights and stuff. And
Kentucky, we call it getting saved, John. Got saved.
Yeah.
Born again.
I did get dunked, but
I
hate the phrase dunked. I think it's because you get the T-shirt. I didn't get my church doesn't do the T-shirt.
Oh,
and they don't pass out iPads and all that shit. So, but no, like the fact that I do go to church and I have Bible study. I'm doing a little research of my own, and and I think it's so cool that the night that everything changed, and it was actually the night that you were in Cincinnati with us at the live viewing party. David had he used 3 stones to defeat Goliath, and you guys had you had the steal a vote, the idol nullifier, and the idol. And it was those three stones that it took for a David to triumph over the Goliath to win Survivor. Like that's crazy.
I think it could have been any more perfect. Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like it was meant to be from God or something, dude. Because this whole theme, and then for that moment, there's all these crazy advantages and idols and this and that you don't know who's going to play them, when they're going to play them, and
anything could have fell Carl doesn't have to find the idol nullifier. You don't have to have the steal a vote. Which called Hot Cop Dan, he doesn't play the idol on Angelina the week before, or 3 days before. He plays his idol. Carl plays the idol nullifier. He has his second idol. How anticlimactic, like that.
Yeah. Like, I agree 100%. It's almost like Brandon the season David versus Goliath put some sort of fate on it, and everything that happened in our season had some sort of metaphorical comparison towards the actual biblical story. Yeah. And also, like, when you're on the island, when you're away from technology and everything, it almost feels like there's some sort of other power or something at work all the time. And I think that's why people talk about the Survivor gods on the show all the time, because it's like,
there are Survivor gods.
Yeah, like at home, if it rains, you just go inside. But out there, it's like you really, your well-being depends on whether if it rains or not. So
well, I can attest to that, dude. When I was stripped away from my family, my wife, my kids, my phone, everybody I loved, I literally, dude, this sounds cliche and cheesy, but I felt closer to God than I had in a long time in the spiritual realm, because when you're sitting there you're with this tribe people, but when you're out there like by yourself and you're looking out at the ocean and you're looking at this beautiful place that you're at in this crazy game, it is a spiritual experience. At least it was for me. You know what I mean?
Well, we weren't drunk on rum like John was, so.
I was quite. I do the celebrity voicemail things like you'll see them on my Twitter feed. I advertise and whatever. And this guy today asked me for he was just like, hey, can you do a celebrity voicemail for my buddy Richard? He's getting married or whatever. Just give him some advice. And I was just like, ooh, this is a tough waste of $25 right here. I mean, I'm telling other people, please buy them. But, I'm just like, hey, it's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer. Hey, Richard here getting married, looking for a little advice. It's called Cocaine and Hookers. 2 years, but let me tell you, I'm very happily divorced. And so you picked the wrong motherfucker to ask for fucking bachelor party advice.
That's hilarious, dude.
So yeah, that was my afternoon.
That's probably exactly what he wanted.
Yeah,
He wanted his friend to hear that.
I want to ask this, man. So the fans and the buzz around social media that David versus Goliath has been one of the greatest seasons possibly of all time. You being a Survivor fan for many, many years and you watching it back as a fan, I know it's kind of trippy because you're on the show and you won, but do you rate David versus Goliath up there with some of the top seasons of all time?
I do, and
tell Grizel to stop drinking and throwing shit.
That was the cat. That was my crazy cat. No, so out there filming, I mean, everything kind of happens so fast, and like you're just in the moment. It's hard to kind of take a second to reflect on what all has happened, but. Like when we were on our way home and, I would talk to other castmates or something. I was like, holy shit. Like, did that just go down? Like, this feels like there's just something special about this season. And,
I'm sure Sex Dr. Mike said the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait till they see this.
I know. And that's what I was thinking. It's like, well, everybody probably thinks that because when you live it, it's got to feel great.
One World did not say that.
Yeah.
they went home. They're like, man, that shit sucked. I was like,
But, I thought, well, there was a couple unanimous votes. I thought maybe when Lyrsa went home and when Elizabeth went home, I thought maybe those 2 episodes might not be as exciting. But when those things when I was watching with the rest of the world and everybody was excited and those tribal councils went and everybody was just singing high praises, I was like, oh, God, they're going to love this because they have no idea what's coming because after that, it's just blindside. The John, and Carl, and so.
The individual immunities won by, 7 different people. Like, that's great. Like, it was so – going into the finale, like, people – I did everything possible. Like, even on the Patreon, available at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW. Everywhere, like Matt's like, who's your pick? Or if I'm doing all these other reality Steve and all these other, they're like, who's your pick? And I did I'm just like, oh, well, I like Nick, Allison came to one of my views. Like, I'm just leaving it so open-ended because, I don't want to seem, it's just like, I don't want, the next to last or last episode to be like, man, you're an idiot. How could you not see that? And I'm just like, how could you see anyone? So, I mean, like, we were talking before we went on the air and that last, you win for no one to win immunity twice, for you to win 3 in a row.
Yeah.
It's just like, what just happened? Like, how did the game, like, this has been the most wide open season possibly in the history of Survivor for you to be like, let me go ahead and just stud this shit up and just know who the man is.
Well, I mean, that was part of, like, everybody loves John, but that's part of the reason why when we're setting up a blindside, we take out John, because I wanted to be the guy that could win at the end if I had to. And I didn't know if I had to or not at the end, but I wasn't going to chance it because I didn't see them voting out Davey, and then I got blindsided there. Yeah. So I wasn't going to take any chances when I went into the immunity challenges at the end. Like, I tried as hard as I could to win, and I pulled out all 3. But a lot of people say that's a knock on my game that, oh, he's not a good winner. He had to win the last 3 challenges.
Oh, bullshit.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's true.
You played a great
that
game.
That was amazing that you won the last 3. I going into that final challenge, I thought that had Kara K's name written all over it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted another puzzle after I was doing them so good.
Yeah.
But I asked at the final tribal, Angelina and Mike said that they intended on going to the end with me as Jabini 3. Like, we had a close alliance, that they didn't want to vote me out at 5. I talked to Angelina. I said, well, Mike, he's a good player. What if he decides to try to vote me out at 5? She says she would have played her idol on me at 5. So honestly, I don't care if I had to win them or not. I wasn't going to take the chance, and I won the game, so I don't care what people say. But still, at the same time, who knows? Maybe I didn't have to win them.
Well, I don't know if you listened to Rob C's final interview, like the finale night. He interviewed Mike White, and Mike White's claim, and I think there is something to it. His gripe was the jury was so large, in that you have a good third, possibly half the jury isn't seeing the true game. Like, if you're going out guns blazing with like at the halfway mark or 2/3 the way in, you're shooting your wad too early. Like, a true player is saving his, he's got his foot on the gas, but he's not pressing it down until the final stretch. And that's what Mike White did with the evictions of Christian and Davey. Two huge evictions and two huge players in the game. I give Davey a lot more credit than Christian, but that's just
well,
my
I want to ask that. So as we know, and we've talked about this before, Nick, everyone loved Christian. Christian was one of the fan favorites, if you will, of this season. And you were out there playing with him. Jonny he doesn't believe the hype. He doesn't think Christian really did that much and wasn't that great of a player. I'm not trying to put you on
good TV.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but what is your relationship with Christian now? And do you think Christian was really playing a hard game out there?
I love Christian. I mean, we were good friends out there, and we're still good friends now.
Mason Dixon. I mean,
yeah, we were the Mason Dixon.
Yes.
Obviously,
I don't know if you heard.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a Lions name? They showed a few of them. So, but no, yeah. I mean, I felt betrayed by him. I thought that, I don't know, man. I think he's such a good social player that he don't have to do all that too much strategy, and I think sometimes he just over strategizes.
Did you think he was a good player out there?
Yeah, when I was out there, I mean, I thought he was good when I was out there because he was someone I could trust.
I mean, if you're rating the players, I have you at the top. Jeff Probst used a line. You're almost American Psycho, like a shapeshifter. Being able to be that person one-on-one with whatever person that you're talking to at that particular time. And I think that's an amazing ability in a survivor.
I think I'm just easy to get along with. I don't intentionally have like some sinister side of me. It's like, oh, I got to act this way around this person. But I think I'm just easy to get along with.
You're adaptive. I think it's adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability. I will say
okay,
that.
so I think on a player level and as we all mentioned, you winning those last 3 immunities, I think that's an incredible play. So if I have to put you guys in order, after seeing everything, I have you number 1. I have Davey right there behind you. I thought Davey was an amazing player. Like I thought his confessional started a little weak at the beginning, and then
by the end he was.
He blossomed.
Yeah,
Jonny and I were like, man, have you seen some of his secret scenes? They're like terrible, but dude, I was a big Davey fan toward the end of the show.
Oh yeah, he was hilarious.
But I think once again I think Mike White is right up there. I think you three were. Where was Christian? Was he a level below or multiple, or was he right there with you?
I'll tell you a skill I think that I had just to start is that, like you just said, you want to play your best game later. That was my goal. But when I saw what was happening, 7 Goliaths and 5 Davids,
you didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I made a huge move at Final 12 to get out John. Like, I didn't want to do that. And so I think that adaptability and the ability to assess what is going on in the game and then adjust your game plan and having the trust of everybody to where all kinds of options are open. I think that was what I brought to the game, where I had a lot of information, and then I would use it to make a good choice or a, what could help me moving on. I think I'm not sure if Christian was as open to that as I was. I think he had a strategy coming in that he kind of got hung up on. I feel like Christian thought that he really needed this fluid game around him with everybody working with everybody. But actually, as the game turned out, I think it would have benefited him to stay in the David 5. So I don't know. I think that, Christian was great because he was such a good social player. I think that because of his archetype, he might get more strategic credit than what he actually showed out there. I'm not saying he's a bad player or anything.
No, I know what you're saying, dude.
Because he's a great player. And if he made it to the end, I think he would have won, because everybody would have wanted to vote for Christian because we love Christian.
Right.
But I think he was more of a social player than a strategic player.
Yeah, that makes it. And, the social game is a huge part of Survivor. There's, a lot of luck involved and a lot of things. So I want to ask you something. You got to experience pretty much everything you could possibly experience on Survivor, okay? You had your dad come out for the family visit. You won individual immunity. You were a part of Blindsides. You had idols going. And you sat there at the finale when Jeff Probst, said you're the winner of David versus Goliath. Do you have a single thing that was the absolute pinnacle of your Survivor experience? Was it your dad coming out? Was it winning the $1 million? Was it your first your first immunity win? What was it for you that was the pinnacle?
While in Fiji, it was probably winning the Final Four immunity. Since I've been back from Fiji, getting to be a part of like the family and the cast, and like our cast really does love each other. That honestly has been the best part. But in the game, I think winning that Final Four immunity is like when I just, I was like, I'm pretty sure I just won Survivor. And it was like,
well, Angelina was pretty sure she won too.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was her best day too. I don't know. But you're right. There's so many different things. Like I feel very blessed that as a super fan, I had like the ultimate experience. I was on a scrappy tribe in the Davids, like the lovable underdogs. Then I was on like a terrible tribe that we didn't really have a chance in challenges, but somehow
we were tribe ever.
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't gonna phrase it that way, but
on paper, the worst tribe, and it wasn't even an orange fucking buff.
Mm-hmm. It was like when I saw the draw I had, I was like, oh great, But and then the merge,
and to win a challenge with that, because you're sitting there, you're looking at Hot Cop Dan and Johnny Island or whatever the fuck he was that week, and then Allison, like a lot of people don't understand. Look at the fucking pictures that I post. I'm not a fucking giant. I'm 5'8", 160. She towers me.
Allison's tough. She was an athlete. She played soccer in college. She's good.
Can't throw nothing.
Yeah, I guess she can't throw, but
can't throw nothing.
That's funny. But yeah,
so.
Yeah, we were outmatched. So I was on the bad tribes, then I was in the merge with around all these cool people, and I won challenges. I went on the good rewards. I got the family visit, the helicopter ride. And then I found idols and advantages, played them correctly.
Crazy.
I had the ultimate.
You played one idol, like
I misplayed an idol. Mm-hmm.
We chatted, a brief chat because there was just so much right at the end of the season. Didn't want to bother you, and you had everything, and I was just, and I know you were upset about that early idol play, and I'm pretty sure I was just like, I would have punched you in the face if you had because if you have because you're so close at that point. If there is a 1% chance that you could be going home, that's not a fucking wasted idol play.
I agree.
I know it stung.
Yeah, when you don't get any votes. I knew where every vote was going, but my name hadn't come up since day one. So
that's great. Real quick before you explain, these huge moves that you're making in the middle of the game, huge. No one's pointing fingers at you.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think in a season with so many threats, I kind of took the under the radar approach, and that's what I wanted to do. But then my game forced me to make some big moves, and still people were saying like Carl's the Godfather, or saying, Davey played the idol, and he did, and Davey did help me with that move. We did it together, but like I feel like I slid under the radar and let other people take the credit.
I think you got credit for the good that it did, but you didn't get the blame for the bad that it did.
I could see that.
I'm just like, how is it? Because, on Pro Islands, like every time there was time for reward, either I won or more times than not, I didn't win, and whoever won was just like, come on, Fairplay, and everyone's just like, how does he keep? Like, it's just like, this guy's an asshole. How does he keep, they must like him somewhat. They keep fucking bringing him. It's not something that's scared to leave him alone with nothing.
Yeah, so you get to reap the rewards without taking the blame, and I was kind of able to do that too. So the risky part of that is getting to the end, and if you fly under the radar too much, the jury don't see you're the person playing well or making moves, and then they don't reward you with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was working with so many people. I think that a lot of people were able to see it. But the people that didn't vote for me were Kara and Allison, and they were the two I wasn't really working with. So maybe they really thought I was just all shucks kind of country boy or whatever, But that's okay. I mean, it is such a fine line to walk where you're under the radar, but you're getting credit for the moves, but you're not getting too much credit for the moves, but nobody thinks you're just doing nothing. I mean, it is Survivor's such a fickle game. So I did the best I could at walking that fine line.
And you not playing, or you playing that idol and not having that idol, I think forced you to up your game for those last three challenges.
I think so too. And especially where there's the fire challenge at 4 now, like that just, if it's 7 and you think there's a chance in the world, you go home, you have to play it. But what happened so obviously I was in a plan with everybody. I was on the same page as everybody. And me and the 4 Goliaths, they were putting 2 votes on Davey to flush his idol and 2 votes on Christian. And then I had Davey and Christian, they were putting 2 votes on Allison. So it was like 2-2-2, and then I could really vote for Allison or Christian.
Yeah.
What really confused me is the people that were actually throwing my name out was Davey and Christian. It wasn't the Goliath, or it wasn't Kara or Allison. So that messed with my head. And so I thought of a plan where I had that fake idol, and it's literally while we were walking up to vote. And so I thought, well, I'm going to play my fake idol to, try to get a read on the room or anything. And, I'll see what the reaction is. And Jeff will say, oh, this is fake. And then, that'll just give me a little more information. So the problem with the plan was great, but I come up with it way too late. I was coming up. I mean, it was like last second. So since I wasn't able to tell people, hey, I have this plan tonight, I think they weren't able to prepare the proper way. So Jeff probably didn't. I mean, if he knows an idol's going to be played, he's going to know what an idol looks like, what the fake idol looks like. Yeah. He's going to know. But since nobody knew that, I think he didn't know which one was real, which one was fake, and this and that. So I went to my fake idol, and he started talking like, this is a hidden immunity idol. And I don't know if he finished it or what, but I was like, wait, no, Jeff, that's fake. And that's what they show on TV. So that's what really messed with my head.
Gosh.
I was like, no, Jeff, it's fake. I wanted to play that one to get, get a reaction or get a read. And I was like, but I do have a real idol. It's in my pocket. And so he was like, he said, well, do you want to play your real one? Because I don't think
I do now because you just fucked up my shit.
And so I just froze. I just froze. And that's when I was like, Angelina, do you think I need to play it? And that's when she turned around and she said, you don't need to play it, Nick. And I was like, Mike, what do you think? He was like, I don't think you need to play it. What I wish I would have done is said, if I would have just said, Jeff, I'm sorry, I'm caught off guard. Can I have 30 seconds to think about it? I know he would have said yes. He would have said, yeah, that's fine. But instead, I was just I was just freaking out. And so I was like, you know what? I probably don't need it, but I don't care. Everybody knows I have it. There is a chance because the people saying my name were Christian, And like I was able to come clean with Davey, and we were on the same page again.
Yeah, that's like it seemed like you guys bond like seconds after Tribal. It was just like we're cool. So
yeah, but I wasn't able to do that with Christian yet, and so that's why.
That was Christian's eviction, right?
Yeah, that's why I wrote him down. I played my idol, and
sure.
Yeah.
I watched that episode in Chapel Hill. I brought Piper with me, and it was Allison's viewing party. And I think it was the only place on the country that there were cheers for Christians, even because I'm sitting there and just like, yeah. And then I'm looking around, and everyone's like, yeah. And they're just like, oh, that's weird. You think people be upset that this guy was going home?
Actually, I saw that video. That was great. But that was probably the toughest decision I had to make in the game. Was Christian or Allison right there, and play the idol or not. And I probably got too flashy with the fake, but I did it so other people wouldn't look for the real one.
Sure.
And so if I would have just included Davey in that plan, it would have worked flawlessly. But because I didn't, Davey knew about my real idol, so then all of a sudden he thought I had two idols. Yeah. If anybody has two idols, it don't matter if it's your mom or who. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
you're gonna get some boats thrown on you.
Yeah.
So what is it like, Nick, to like around your town? Do you get a taste of what it's like to be a star in your little town? You know what I mean? I mean, it's been a big deal. You live in a small town. I mean, when I was on Survivor, I would get recognized everywhere I went. What is that like for you to be recognized as this like celebrity, even though you're just a normal dude that played a reality show?
The hillbilly lawyer.
Yeah, redneck lawyer.
Redneck lawyer.
Redneck lawyer or hillbilly lawyer. Either one's fine.
I respond to both.
Yeah, I'm used to it. But no, it's really cool. I mean, I get noticed. Like at Walmart, people notice me. But it's always so positive that it's really cool. Like, I think the way I was presented on the show, the way I tried to handle myself out there, I think everybody in the community. It's not just like, oh, that's the guy on Survivor. They're like, oh, like we're so proud of the way you represented our community and the way you made Southeastern Kentucky look, and that's what really means the world to me. So it's been really cool.
So it's the exact opposite of what I got.
Yeah.
Kids are wondering. They're just like, why'd you say Danville? Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
You are a respectable guy. So, you won the $1 million, but you also won the title of Sole Survivor. And we saw, like, when Russell Hantz played his season, he was like, dude, I don't care. Just tell me that he wanted the praise of being the Sole Survivor. What is better for you as a Survivor fan? Is it the money, or is it achieving what everyone that's ever played Survivor that doesn't win wants to do, and you got to do it and you won? Is it the money or the title?
Oh, man. It's got to be the title, right? Like,
I said that when I was 30 and 64. Fuck that. I will sign over if there is a Legends. If I get the call, I will sign. The title of Sole Survivor can go to any one of the other 19. I just need the $1 million.
See, I disagree. Like, as much as money is a life-changing thing, I think for me, winning as a fan and get to think about winning the game would be the epitome and ultimate thing. So that's what you're saying is the money's icing on the cake, but you won Survivor David versus Goliath.
Well, I mean, like, this was my dream, and I feel like every super fan out there wants the experience that I just had. And like I said, I got to find idols, do this, do that, final tribal, get to win. And coming back, I felt like this is going to be such a great season. Like, it's going to be one of the best newbie seasons ever. And then all of America agrees. Like, everybody loved the season. It's so exciting. And so I get to be the winner of, like, one of the greatest seasons ever.
Where do you have it? What rank do you put it?
I mean, I think like, Heroes Villains is really hard to beat. So just going off just newbies, I mean, it's got to be in top 3. Like, I love your season. I love my season. I love JT and Steven's season. Cagayan is good. I haven't seen it in a while, though. I mean, it's I would say top 3 of the newbies for sure. And maybe second behind Heroes Villains. I don't know. I love it.
I got it top 5 easily.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it'd take a couple rewatches for some other stuff to see. But
it's so funny because like you think, oh, this is the best season ever, and then you start thinking of these other seasons, and you're like, even if they're different, like there's so many great seasons. It's hard to rank. I don't even.
Here's my thing, dude.
I agree.
For me to even look back and see photos of me on the island playing Survivor, it is a surreal, almost dreamlike scenario. You are now in this elite group of winners, okay? And
likable, like at the end, no one's going. I consider Pearl Island's a top 3 season, easily top 5. We got Sandra as a fucking winner.
Is that just completely bizarre to you? Like, we always talk about legends and what season 40 is going to be, and you got the Tony Vlachoses of the world, the Mike Holloways, and the Sandra Diaz-Twine and Richard Hatch. You are in that mix of players. You won the game. Is it hard for you to just kind of comprehend that you're in that elite group of winners circles?
I mean, I think I probably still need some time. I mean, it's really cool, and like
you never got a vote against you, right?
No, never against me.
I mean, it's unbelievable, dude.
Maybe,
and what I love about it, dude, is Jonny and I, we talk to different people, and I feel like I'm pretty good read on people. You are so modest and kind, Nick, and just a cool, normal, everyday guy that won this game. Some people have these loud, larger-than-life personalities. Not that you don't, but I'm saying you're just a normal dude, and you won. So it should prove out there that to all these people listening to this podcast or that watch David vs. Goliath, if you want to be on Survivor, you got to keep applying like you did for many, many years, and you can have a true and honest and be a good person and win this game. And you got to lie and cheat and steal at some point in time.
It's gameplay.
But
I mean, that's gameplay.
It's gameplay. Johnny Fairplay lied about his grandmother. You can do whatever you want after that.
You got to write down Christian sometimes and break America's heart.
Unless they're in Chapel Hill.
Yeah. But that's what I was going to say, Matt. I mean, I think, I worked for it. I had this dream since I was, before I was 18, but I applied when I was 18. And I kept applying and applying. And I mean, it was something that I was almost even embarrassed to tell people about. Like my friends, because if I said like, "Oh, I'm applying for Survivor," they might say, like, "Oh, is that show still on? Or you still watch that?" Or something, So it was it was like my it wasn't like a secret dream, but it was like my personal dream that I didn't talk to a whole lot of people about. Like my family that watched Survivor, I tell them, I'll be like, "I'm gonna be on that show one day," but I just never gave up, and I kept trying to improve my tape, kept trying to find whatever resources I could find to do better on the video or to make myself better. I kept going through school and went to law school and doing different things in my life, but I still never forgot about this dream. And so, that's what I would say is like, it can happen, but you got to work for it and earn it.
And then was this the hardest thing you've ever done in your life? Was playing Survivor the hardest thing? Pretty much. I mean, I'm talking about besides the heartache you've had of real life tragedies, of a parent passing away, this, that, and the other, Survivor was the most difficult thing you've ever gone through.
Yes, I would say so for sure. Because
cyclones are real.
Yeah, I mean, it's real. The rain is real. Like, although what I'll say is like, I don't know if it's just like the human body or the human race or what, but it amazed me like what instincts kick in and like, it was like day 8 before I realized and then I was like, just like, holy crap, like I am literally starving. I never felt that hungry until it like really kicked in. So it was absolutely the hardest thing I've ever done. But, I was proud of not only myself, but other people out there. Cause like, I mean, people do it every single season. So it's worth the struggle, no doubt.
When they do the tribe switch and you're on the immensely weaker tribe, like you had to become the man.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like the ends of these challenges is John Morrison, you and Alec.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and Alex,
are you
Alex
looking over going, fuck you?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Mike White, step up, bitch.
Yeah. So I never wanted to like put myself out there in the tribal challenges because one, you don't have to. Like when you're on Survivor, there's going to be so many people that are so confident in their abilities that people are not only going to volunteer, they're going to fight over who gets to do it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would just take a step back and let B or Carl or whoever wanted to do something, I would let them do it. But once I got to that Jabini tribe, yeah, I had to be the one that kind of stepped up and did the challenges late. But I still was never seen as a challenge threat until I guess it was too late.
The only person to win three in a row. So, all right, well, we're winding down. I got a couple of questions. We've got to tackle before we let you go.
Okay.
I
got like 15 minutes, I think. So
okay,
cool.
If y'all got that much.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If Allison's in the final 3, does she beat you?
No.
Okay.
So
because I was thinking she has she has John and Hot Cup Dan perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Kara Kay.
Her
and Gabby.
Most definite vote would probably be Alec. I think they were very close, but she was really seen as a threat early. But then I think just kind of, I mean, towards the end, she just wasn't seen as a jury threat anymore because like. She's not a bad player or anything, but I think she just was never in the position where she was the one making the moves, and so I think
but fighting from under. You don't think the jury gives credit for fighting from underneath?
I don't think so. I know you preach
so.
about her. I'm with Nick. I don't think she's a bad player, but I don't think she's on any kind of level. I just felt like she had a bond with John and Dan. On the super tribe.
That's possible, but I think she just was viewed as somebody who kept getting saved by the circumstances, whereas there's a bigger threat like, oh, well, she was going to go, but instead they wanted to blindside Carl. Or
she wasn't responsible for any of these votes.
Yeah, I feel like she was just a third-party beneficiary, at least in my mind, and I think the jury perceived, not everyone, of course, she would have got some votes, I'd say, yeah. But I think the jury mostly perceived it as she was like a third-party beneficiary to these other people's moves, and that's what kept her in the game, as opposed to her like flipping the script and being the person to get Christian out.
Gotcha.
I think most people actually credited Mike with getting Christian out, even though I felt like I was the one that did it. I was supposed to send him home, but I think Mike got most of the credit for that. So.
All right. Second thing, Mike White. I do think I'll give you guys shared credit for Christian. I will definitely give him almost 100% credit for Davey. Huge move towards the end of the game. Do you agree because people are asking me, they're just like, hey, Mike played. I have a personal philosophy that I feel a lot of survivors feel. When you go out there and you play the game of Survivor, the prize of $1 million is there to change someone's life. And $1 million is not going to change Mike White's life, and he's not going to get a vote because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that to an extent, and I think it can help him and hurt him. I think it helped him get to the end, but once we were sitting there, because everybody knows, hey, we can go to the end with Mike. He's rich. He won't win. But while that's happening, he's also playing a great game too. And
he
then
made
gets to
moves,
the end.
dude. That's the thing.
Yeah, he made moves.
Yeah. But I mean, but don't you see that? I mean, a millionaire wasn't cast on Survivor when the game first started. But me as an early fan, I was a recruit, but still, I've watched them all with the exception of the end of Matt's season, of course.
Why am I fucking here again?
Because you're top 10 nicest, Matt.
All right. Well, I'm in the same. I may not have made the damn jury, but I'm top 10 nicest along with Nick Wilson here. So
that's right.
That calls
the title
for something.
You really want.
That's right. That's right.
Here you go. But no, I mean, like, but I feel in my heart of hearts and the hearts of these Survivor purists that play that $1 million prize is there to change someone's life. Like that's why it's there.
No doubt that is going to be a strong element in any jury's mind, in my opinion. And honestly, it was even a big part of Mike's the way Mike felt at the final tribal council, because a lot of times with the answers to his questions, it was almost like he would say, yes, I want to win. I feel like I deserve it. So sometimes it felt like he wanted to win, but he wanted me to have the money. And so I think the
You
jury
could have worked out that deal.
Yeah.
if he wants to throw it out there, just,
Yeah. I think
whatever makes you feel better.
He absolutely had a moral dilemma and struggled with the concept of if he won, he was taking $1 million from me. So I think that is a strong element for everybody involved when somebody with money makes it to the end. So it's tough, but at the same time, like, I feel like, he did great, but I still felt like that made him a more, somebody that people wanted to have as an ally more because, the whole time I was thinking, actually, I might have been underrating Mike's game because I was thinking, I'll just go to the end with Mike. He's rich. He won't get any votes, And so I think a lot of people were thinking that way. So the money thing could help him get to the end easier than maybe other players.
Yeah.
But once he's there, it could make it more difficult for him to get the votes. I agree.
Well, Angelina, so she
my favorite other than Nick.
Yeah, so many people are annoyed and just, God, she's annoying. I
don't
as shit.
understand those people, Matt.
Fairplay is a
blasphemy.
huge fan.
Love her.
I'm totally, and I'm not asking you to talk shit. What was the perception of the rest of your tribe toward Angelina? We see what we saw on TV with the.
Hold on, before you finish, Matt. I don't know if Nick's aware. Do you know that she gave up immunity for Rice?
Oh, now this changes everything.
I don't know if you knew.
And she climbed a 1,000-foot ladder to try to find an idol. But no, was she? I mean, what's your relationship with Angelina? Did she rub people the wrong way? Was everyone annoyed with her, or is she just, you know what I mean? Like, kind of give us a little insight on that.
Bad edit.
I think there was definitely a time where everybody thought Angelina was a threat and a big strategic force in the game. But then, like, all these
after that, the Elizabeth thing,
it just went down, and everybody kind of just saw her as.
I thought that was going to help her game. I thought the Allison thing, is going to be like a new sense of awareness. She take a few steps back and then make a charge, but there was no coming back.
I think it helped her get farther because people started looking at her more as like less of a threatening player or less of a strategic player, and more as somebody that got like sidetracked by these silly endeavors.
Just harebrained ideas, right. So, I mean, obviously, we see Jeff Probst, Jonny, says that if he could bring any player back from this season, she would be that person. I disagree. You being the winner, taking you out of the equation, my opinion, you bring Christian back from this season if it's a fans versus favorites 3 or a like Edge of Extinction you're bringing for. I see him kind of like that Cochran on my season, fans versus favorites 2, but a more likable Cochran. Jonny hates Cochran, and we kind of compare the two. But I mean, do you think that they're kind of on a similar level of players?
I think they're the same archetype, but I mean, Christian is like lovable.
Yes,
I think I would like.
He's the person people love.
I think I would like Christian in person.
Right.
Yeah. He is like, he's honestly like Rupert, like as far as like being the person, like America loves Christian.
Oh, and I've read things, Nick, that where I met Christian on campus and he's a huge Survivor fan, or he talked to me for an hour about the game. Yeah. He is that dude, is what we're saying.
He is awesome. Yeah, if you meet Christian, you will love him. Like you.
What about Angelina?
Okay, so we will have I like Angelina, but I think we have a lot of players who should and could return because we have a great cast. But I'll tell you a story on the returning thing. I was talking with Mike and Angelina on the island, and it comes up. Oh, would you play again? Do you think they'll bring you back? And everybody's like, I don't know if I play again, especially when you're there because you're like, this sucks. Like I won't play again.
Right.
And so Angelina said, oh, do you think they'll ask me back? And I was like, Angelina, if they do another heroes versus villains, like you are a shoo-in. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And, me and Mike were kind of looking at each other.
I'm sure she was just like a hero.
She was like, no, she said, thank you, Nick. Would I be a hero or a villain? And then me and Mike just laughed at each other because, and of course Mike goes, you're a hero, Angelina. Like, you're a hero. So that was kind of like the perception is like, we see her as the personality she was out there, and like, it's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. But if they casted heroes versus villains, they're probably going to put her on the villains tribe. I mean, you can see that.
Right. Yes.
Her self-awareness is a little, and I don't think she's delusional. I think in her head she's fighting the good fight. She's just like, hey, this is kind of great, right?
No, I have nothing bad, and like bullying. The things I see on her post about people giving her death threats. Get a life, ridiculous. People. Yeah. This is a fucking game. Yeah. Okay, it is a game. Stop with the bullshit. If you're that much of I'm a super fan. So are you, and so are you, Jonny. If you don't have that much of a freaking real life that you have to talk shit on people that play the game when you don't even know who that person really is, then you got problems. You know what I mean? I know, Nick, that you had said before. Jonny and I would play again. If Jeff Probst called my phone, I'd be like, hey, dude, I'm on a flight as soon as I get done with this podcast, right? I know you've won the game. You've experienced everything. Like, what possibly could you experience other than what you have? If they did Blood vs. Water 3 and they called you and Griselle to play Blood vs. Water 3, I know she's a fan. Would you play in a scenario like that again?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, no doubt. Legends.
Yeah. I mean, I think I will go back no matter what. But
you were like, I don't know, in Cincinnati.
Well. I mean, give me a little time. I think it's like it's all just so fresh and everything. Sure. I kind of just need a little bit of a break, maybe.
But you would play Blood versus Water or something like that with Griselle.
Yeah. If that was like in a couple months, I would do that.
Well, dude, all I know is. This has been, for me as a fan, amazing.
One more before you wrap up, Matt.
Yes.
All right, so this is airing on Wednesday. So we're going to use a time machine here. Mm-hmm. So Sunday, you were with Davey.
Yes.
In John Morrison's corner, Johnny Impact, once again, Johnny 8008, the mayor of Slamtown's corner. And for Impact Wrestling, the homecoming pay-per-view, and John is facing Brian Cage. Now you got a chance earlier today to see a video. So this of course hasn't happened yet, but you did see this video. I was at a wrestling event in Boston, and at the end of the night, I was the MC of the evening. I came to raise the hand of Brian Cage, and Brian Cage. When I raise his hand, he goes, yeah, I'm going to power bomb you. Oh, and gosh. I go, yeah, that's not going to happen. He goes, yeah, you don't have a choice. And he kicked me in the stomach, power bombed me, gave me a concussion, and actually I had a Bell's palsy attack where I had partial paralysis in the side of my face for about 2 weeks.
Looking by the looks of you right now, it seems like you still have that problem.
Motherfucker.
Well, I will say this. I don't plan on being in the ring. I don't plan on being near this guy. We are in the front row.
Yeah. And I wasn't planning on doing shit either, Nick. I'm telling you this as a friend, as a confidant, as my loved one right now. I'm saying that motherfucker comes near you. Like, look, John can save himself, okay? Yeah. He's got other fucking call fucking Christian for some fucking help when it comes to Brian Cage, all right? You sit there on the front row with Davey, you enjoy the show, but Brian Cage comes near you. Don't be a hero. Don't fucking Angelina this fucking shit. Yeah. All right? Need you to like when you get there. It's like when you went to the movies after Batman in fucking Denver. You look for the fucking emergency exits and you know where the fuck to go when shit goes down. That's what I need you to do. Where are you gonna be? Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville.
All right, I want you. Leave a fucking trail of breadcrumbs. Whatever. This guy he's a monster. Have you seen him?
Yes.
I don't know if they do test in TNA. I'm guessing looking at him, they do not.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you see the thing that happened with me and fucking Bonaducci? Yeah, that's called steroids. This motherfucker's on 4 times as many steroids. Okay? I'm just. This is.
Hey, I'm gonna be careful.
Words of advice, but Nick,
hold on. Is there any chance because you're saying CBS is there a chance you might not even be there?
No. I should be there. I mean, I'm allowed to watch a wrestling match. Hopefully, I mean, at least I'll be there just cheering for John in the front row. If I'm allowed, maybe I can
do a little more.
Yeah.
All right, so after my season Survivor.
But you're scaring me. Maybe I don't want to get involved.
No. You'll be.
I don't want to get powerbombed. I know that.
No, you don't. I promise. All right,
I would
so
like to powerbomb me.
oh yeah, in a heartbeat. Out of curiosity, all right. So after my season Survivor, I got $300,000 for a 2-year deal with TNA. I only did 8 appearances, so I don't even know what that fucking breaks down to, but it's insane. Are you getting paid comparably?
No, I'm not getting paid. I mean, I just went as a fan to watch John wrestle.
You need to negotiate this whole thing. Fucking DeLorean. You know Burton Roberts is selling a DeLorean on Facebook. Get a DeLorean. You have the money. You won Survivor. $20,000. Get a DeLorean. Redo this shit. I'm saying $60,000 at least, Nick. Come on.
Gosh.
February 20th. Save the date. The premiere of Survivor Edge of Extinction, a live Survivor NSFW viewing party live podcast with many survivors in attendance in Cincinnati, Ohio. Jonny Fairplay, give them the details.
Hey, go to SurvivorTix.com. That's SurvivorTix.com. Get your VIPs for 75, your general admission for 25. You get a buff. We have Edge of Extinction buffs that we're going to have there. And you're going to join us at Frickers. Not the Frickers we were at before. A bigger, better Frickers. We're going to be at the Frickers Westchester Township in Ohio. That's at 7844B Kingland Drive in Westchester Township. It's a pretty cool venue. We have some 80-inch screens in there. It's going to be a cool deal. We have Big Tom from Survivor Africa and Australia, or Africa and All Stars. We have Roger Bingham from Survivor Australia. We have Sash is going to join us from Nicaragua, and we have Angela Perkins from Ghost Island, and Tanya Vance from Thailand. She'll be joining us, and you never know who else is going to be there. Get your tickets now. I will make one promise and one promise only. VIP will sell out. It is based on the number of buffs, and we like to have an intimate affair with the meet and greet that happens before the viewing and the post-show podcast and Q&A. So if you want to do VIP, get your tickets now. Go to SurvivorTix.com. That's SurvivorTix.com. And join us Wednesday, February 20th at the Frickers in the Westchester Township of Ohio.
Be there because, as we know, the last one we did in Cincinnati, Ohio was off the hook and mega fun. So be sure to be there, Cincinnati, Ohio. Spread the word on your social media. Tell your friends. You do not want to miss that. Cheers, everybody. Well, all I got to say is it's been a true honor, Nick, to have you on our podcast. You know, Jonny and I met over the summer, and I got to, start doing this podcast with Jonny, and we had a great time breaking down every episode, every week of David versus Goliath, and meeting you and being able to hang out with you on a personal level, along with your amazing girlfriend. It's been great, and I can't wait to do it again and hang out and have you at my house this summer, dude. You always have an open invite, brother, and congratulations. You are a deserving winner, and as a fan, it's been awesome to talk to you, and I wish you only but the best, my man.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Tess and I, we open arms. And when Jonny, you come into town, I'll cook a bunch of food. We got a swimming pool. We got the whole backyard patio, dude. And you're close by, so we're gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out.
And I want to pass on this from Big Tom. So once again, secretly, Nick, you met with us in June. and we did an escape room together. We did the Oval Office escape room. It was you, Griselle, me, Sunday from Millennials Gen X, her sister, and Big Tom. And we were pretty close to getting out in time. We just missed it. Big Tom was trying to break the wall, and they're like, "Excuse me, gentlemen." And
that was the hardest one they had, though, too.
It was the hardest one, and they said we didn't have enough people. They said if we had had more hands, we actually would have, So I talked to Big Tom after the finale because Big Tom was on your finale. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Did he really lose 76 pounds or whatever?
He did not. That was a lie. Okay. He lost like 63.
Oh well, I mean that's still.
Yeah. So, but I talked to I came in there. I was like, Big Tom was like, how cool is that? I'm like, you're on the finale with the guy that we do the escape room, and he goes, "You're shitting me." Why? I'm a stupid man. That was him. And
You're kidding me.
I'm like, you watched the whole season and didn't know that? And he's like, no, Sandy's going to kill me. I told Sandy, he's like, I wouldn't mind meeting him. He seems like a real nice fella. I'm like, you're locked in a room with him, you dumb son of a bitch.
That is fucking hilarious.
That is hilarious. We
so
put
Big Tom.
together.
I know. Big Tom is excited to meet you again. All over. He is so mad at himself. He was just like, you know how much I would have enjoyed that season, but no one. And I'm like, how can you not? He goes, I don't know, Fairplay. So yeah. There you go. Big Tom will have to rewatch to enjoy it that much more.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad I have that story now, actually. So.
That story is that makes it even better. So thank you guys very much for listening to Survivor NSFW, the Unauthorized Survivor podcast, with the winner of Survivor David versus Goliath, Nick Wilson. Nick, we wish you the best, man. Cheers, brother. You have a good night. Johnny, everybody, we'll see you next week.
And to watch this, go to Survivor Patreon page located at patreon.com/Survivor NSFW.